welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker, and we do the test driving for all the teas that are out there, the teas that you may be thinking of to purchase, and they're online, and you're thinking, oh, is it really worth it? How do I know how they're going to taste? Are they going to be as good as the one I tried before? I'm here to help kind of solve those problems, and we're going to be looking at a tea that is from a smaller retailer. Strong connections, strong traditions back to the places of origin, and so we're going to go ahead and look at a tea called Big Red Robe. Big Red Robes is a Chinese type of oolong that is getting a lot of press lately because the price of it has just skyrocketed. It's a tea that has become increasingly valuable. Which also means it's becoming increasingly counterfeited. So there's a lot of fake Big Red Robes, or the Chinese name is Da Hong Pao. Now you see I've got out my Gaiwan, which is my traditional style. This is a Chinese tea, so you get a traditional Chinese style of preparation method. I've got a spoon here, and I'm going to drop in enough that mostly covers the bottom of my Gaiwan. I want just a pinch more. That looks good. And let me kind of cap that back on for just a minute. I'm going to add my water. It's been brought to a boil. It's been cooling for about a minute or so as I've been talking here. Now I'm adding enough water so that a little bit will sit above the lid when I put this lid on. There we go. Nice airtight seal there. Let me get this water out of the way here. Let me slide this over as well. Give that some time to steep. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about this tea. This is from the TeaGallery. If you are in the New York area and you have time to make an appointment, because they are at this point kind of appointment only group tastings, I strongly recommend you stop by the TeaGallery. And the partner company, the Mandarin's Tea Room, both of those guys, Michael and Timothy, Winnie as well, great people to sit around, talk tea, learn about tea from, and taste some exquisite teas. So we're going to be looking at their tea. This is a Big Red Robe 2009 with oolongs like this one. Let's see, freshness is not necessarily the thing that you're looking for. You often look for teas that have been sitting for at least a year, sometimes, and they can be even much longer than that, and let's say age better. They get a little more subtle. They get a little more. They get smoother with age. But if the tea had been processed properly, again. Big Red Robe 2009 from the TeaGallery, 25 grams for $18. It is marketed or labeled as a high quality tea, and so you're paying a little bit of a more premium price. But let's kind of look at this tea. By the way, I should note this is not the standard tea container. I use this particular tin just to keep it a little fresher, to lock in some of those aromas and protect it from undue aging. Okay, so let's look at this tea as a whole, or I should say the dry leaf rather. First thing I note are nice sweet toasty aromas. I mean, you're getting a kind of Cheerio, but this is like toasted wheat. This is the sweetest, freshest toasted wheat. So it's got that fresh wheat sweetness, green wheat sweetness, with that toasted note as well. So one very pleasant smelling aroma coming off of the dry leaf already. So let's get a few of these out and just kind of pick around at them. What I'm noticing also, take this into my hand, your leaves are very uniform in color. They are a seal brown, a nice dark gray brown. They've got some gloss to them. They've got some brightness to them. Not a lot of sheen, but they do look bright, but not necessarily as shiny. So they look they're crinkled as well, and you can have sizes anywhere from, that's one leaf that's nearly 2 inches in length, and then you've got portions that are smaller than that as well. Say here's one 3/4 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch, somewhere in there, and various sizes in around that as well. They're twisted along, mostly along the middle vein of the leaf, or they're crumpled up along that middle vein of the leaf, and so that really kind of covers. That's just a very brief introduction to the dry leaf there. Get that sealed up. Okay. We do want to pour this, and let me check it for a moment and break that seal. I think we've got a good amount there. So I'm going to get out my towel here, catch the drips. I'm going to angle my lid over to the side just a bit, kind of push any leaves away from the edge there so I can pour smoothly. And index finger holding the lid in place, and we pour just like so. Nice smooth pour. Alright, let's give this a try now. Going on to the wet leaf, just even pouring just below my nose there, I got a lot of nice, again, those toasty aromas. Toasty aromas are building with a kind of almost a peachy or an apricot kind of. It's got a bit of a tartness to it. It's got a little bit of a baked note, baked aromas there. Those dissipate a little quickly as it's cooled now. It's beginning to diminish somewhat. Now let's look at the wet leaf themselves. All right, here's one that we've pulled out, and this one is mostly unfurling right here. It hasn't completely unfurled, but I'm going to be gentle, and I'm going to try to tease this open so that we can kind of look at this leaf. There we are. This leaf, you can see, is got quite a bit of green still to it. The edges, darker brown. More of a heat kind of, more of a roasting looking than the reddish rust type of color you get with oxidation on a leaf, like on some oolongs. Leaves are mostly intact. I'm also looking here how doesn't have a lot of elasticity. It's not a leathery thick, so that's a positive. This is a more delicate, thinner, more tender leaf. Okay, so let me set that aside for just a moment. See if I can find another. Here's another one that's, again, more of an olive drab color. Still easily unfurling with my fingers here. Tearing fairly easily, not a lot of elasticity there. Okay, so we'll set that one there as well, just for reference. And again, these leaves are 2 inches or more in length. I mean, you have smaller pieces. You do have some darker as well. Maybe got a little more exposure to the heat, to roasting. But let's move on to our liquor. Okay, that is this has got an amber, but it's a bit of a paler amber. It's a bit of a milder looking amber. Okay, kind of an orange, more of an orange tinge to it. Good toast, roasted notes coming off of the liquor already. Still a little bit of a like a stone fruit, that peach apricot type. Okay, so let's give it a pour and try it out now. what I look for in a Da Hong Pao is there is a zesty component to it. There's that tart, slightly, like I said, tart peach type, apricot type zestiness, tanginess in the feel of the mouth, and that's present here. You do, at the same time, you have a very light, smooth, kind of a silken type of coating on the back, towards the back of the tongue, back sides of the tongue as well. Not so much less so on the front right now. The other thing I'm noting is the pools of saliva that are building up in the kind of your lower socket, your lower jaw down here. And it's just building up that kind of tartness, combined with, as you swallow, it feels a little slightly cooling, slightly sweet. It's just really, it's really nice process that's really getting produced by this tea. And that aftertaste continues. It's very close to, not completely as strong as when you have the tea in your mouth, but very close, closer than a lot of other teas especially Da Hong Paos I've experienced. So in the aromas themselves, you do have a little bit of that kind of roasted aspect as well. It's a little bit of, and it's lighter. It's more subtle of toasty type component to it. So when I look at this tea as a whole, I'm going to give this tea probably one of the highest scores that I've given at Walker Tea Review. I'm going to give this tea a 94. It's got that tangy component. It's got some of that silken type texture to it as well. It's got the roasted aspect. And very importantly, it's got an aftertaste that is very strong in relation to the actual taste when it's in your mouth, and it stays longer. It's one of the more sustained aftertastes that I've come across in a long time. So that's especially what makes this tea such a treasure. So again, in the New York area, go to Tea Gallery or the Mandarin's Tea. They're working together for a group tasting experience. Very valuable, very informative, very educational, very uplifting as well. If not, go online to the Tea Gallery, where you can find this tea, and whenever you get the chance to join a tasting, whether it's here or other places, share those experiences here at Walker Tea Review.